Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cole's Corner. I'm here today with Max Gebhart from Premier Communications and Consulting. For those of you just tuning in, if you've never seen Cole's Corner, we highlight individuals offering goods or services inside the telecommunications industry, cabling, AV, DAS, etc. So let's jump right into it. Max, welcome to the corner.
Excited to be
Max,
here.
so tell me a little bit about your role with Premier and Premier as a company, what they do.
Sure. So Premier designs, builds, and maintains complete infrastructure solutions, soup to nuts, from organizations as large as multinational companies in the Southeast all the way down to small startups. Essentially, it's my job to identify opportunities where we'd be relevant, find whom within the organization would find us relevant, and basically walk them down the path of showing why we have competitive advantage against our competitors and help them come to a more efficient technology solution.
Awesome. And so you're technically, essentially, you're the outside sales rep for the Charlotte region?
Yeah, I'm specific to the Charlotte market. I'm
Okay.
the outside account manager here. Yep.
Very cool. So going back into a little bit about what Premier does, what are some technology installations that Premier is capable of handling?
So again, soup to nuts, structured cabling, audiovisual systems, Wi-Fi, sound masking, paging, cell enhancement. We're essentially an IT construction company, and we basically bring all the different technologies from a construction standpoint under one umbrella.
Awesome. So comprehensive, it all fits right in there.
Yep.
Perfect. So with all those different technologies, what's one technology right now that, as people are moving dirt or retrofitting businesses, what do you think, when you find the right person to talk to, what is that technology that you're like, hey, you have to get on board with this?
That's a good question. Have to be PoE lighting right now.
Okay.
For multiple reasons. One, from a cost standpoint, CapEx and OpEx. It's crazy for the owner not to acknowledge the cost benefits tied to that, which is just a very simple process to describe. And more importantly, the versatility tied to it. What you can do with PoE lighting is unparalleled, and it's frankly, I think that's its biggest challenge, is people get lost in all the capability and lose sight of the fact that it's just a better product.
So what are some of the capabilities you mentioned of PoE lighting?
So for example, we could walk in this room right now, and based on the fact that it recognized your cell phone via Bluetooth, the lighting here would change to accommodate your preferences, the background and computer screen would change. It's bigger than just lighting.
Okay.
From a cost standpoint, and I think that's what right now people find the most relevant from a construction standpoint, because there's so much going on and it's so competitive out there.
Mm-hmm.
You're changing the infrastructure of a building completely.
Okay.
The electrical room's getting smaller, IT room's getting bigger, and all that power infrastructure that you're basically overdoing in a building is now coming back to just our data cabling.
Okay, very cool. So that's definitely something that would be probably more new construction based.
Absolutely. I mean, there's obviously the long-term ROI. If you do a retrofit, it's LED lighting, it's more efficient. And also you're bringing in cooler talent if you have that versatility in your new upfitted building. But the CapEx, the initial savings, isn't there as much as a new construction would be.
Perfect. Well, great, man. For everyone out there listening that might not know you, it's been said that you are one heck of a golfer. And I just want to know, are you ready to show the world?
I actually made a point to retire once I realized that every one of my younger siblings could whoop me. Mm-hmm. But for such an esteemed partner, I'll be happy to brush off the cobwebs.
All right, let's see what you got.
We'll try a full 360 spin.
Well, that was pretty dang impressive, Max. So now that we see that you're not only a great salesman, but a renowned golfer, I want to ask you this next question because I think it's really important. What do you think is not necessarily a good fit for Premier? A lot of people talk about what they're great at, and I think it's super important, both as businesses and individuals, to admit sometimes that we're not always great at something. Where do you think Premier fits in that space? What would be an example of something that may not be a good fit for Premier?
Sure. Hats off to the leadership team on this one. They were very deliberate about making sure they structured our company around our actual core competencies, didn't try to, divert off into areas that weren't. The three that come to mind that we repeatedly might get asked for, but typically shy away from, would be fire alarm would be one.
Okay.
A lot of code restrictions and life safety stuff tied to that. There are companies that we partner with that are excellent at that. Monitoring, that's its own skill set. We'd like to build the security system and then hand it off to someone they can watch it. And that third, probably being like the large Crestron, Extron integrations. If you like an enormous video wall and all the parameters that go into programming around a Crestron or Extron system, we'll kind of tip our cap and we've got very qualified partners. We'll kind of tag in for something like that.
Okay.
You need a boardroom done to the nines, we've got you covered. But once you get into we'll call it the Tron world,
Okay.
we'll hand off.
Sure. Awesome. So to kind of conclude this, my last question is a little something different than what I've done in the past. You've been in sales now for how long?
7 years.
Okay, 7 years, hopefully many more to come, and inside this industry as well. So my question to you is this. At the end of your career, you have to walk away, you're done, you have to take everything with you. Everything you've learned from a sales, from a manufacturing, from technology space, all that goes with you. It's off the books, deleted hard drive, no one can learn from it. However, you're allowed to leave one piece of advice to anybody that may follow in your footsteps. What would that piece of advice be?
That's deep, man.
I'm a deep guy. We're deep in the corner right now.
That's a great question. It has to be our maintain and utilize vendor partnerships. I think that is certainly a component that I owe most of my success to. I've got some extremely talented and motivated partners on the vendor side, the manufacturers and distribution side of the house. Maintain those, because essentially if you've got a vendor team that you trust and is working for you, you're essentially leveraging your efforts. It's not just me doing all the work. I've got people out there duplicating my efforts, and it all compounds, and it's a win-win. Obviously, the more I sell, the more they sell. So that's huge for me.
That's great. A great piece of advice too. So in conclusion, just really want to thank Premier Communication Consulting for sponsoring today's Cole's Corner, along with Max for being the individual chosen for the corner inside the company. So Max, yeah, it's a huge honor, folks. Trust me, you want to be part of this. So
yes.
If people would like to reach out to you, what do you think the best way to do that is? Or, and on top, find out more about your company?
Yeah, sure. Obviously, you can email me anytime, m4max.gebhart@premier-inc.com.
Okay.
Premier with an extra E for your reference.
Yep, and it's M.
Gebhart, Gebhart.
Perfect. And then your company webpage?
We obviously have a website, yeah, just premier-inc.com.
Perfect. So folks out there, if you are interested in being a sponsor or my next guest on Cole's Corner, just direct message me here on LinkedIn. Max, thank you so much. Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you. It only took 400 LinkedIn requests. You finally accepted, so it's a huge honor.
So folks, have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks. There you go.
Test.
Test 1, 2.
Test.
That
Max.
was aggressive. They tested. Restaurant's what it is, and I thought of it too late, dude.
Well, you didn't forget about it. We're still recording.
I ain't gonna do it.